Hello! So it's time for our weekly herb garden update. I'm to the point now where I need to thin out the seeds, so I'm going to kind of show you just little before and after videos. The idea is I am trimming any kind of weaker or the seeds that haven't grown as fast or as strong. Not necessarily, I guess, as tall, but the healthiest looking sprouts are what I want to retain. And I've got to thin them out pretty good here, so as I'm working through, I am going to double check and look up how far apart the little seedlings should be as they're growing. I'll keep you posted here, and I'll put a little bit of information in each little video snippet of the befores and afters. Here we have our lavender seeds. These ones, I actually did plant 2 different lavender seeds, so if you look kind of from an upright position here, everything in the middle should be the, let me double check, should be the English lavender, and then everything around the edges is going to be the Munstead lavender. So in the center here, the English lavender specifies that you should space them like 12 inches apart, so I'm going to want to thin them out really good. I'll probably leave maybe like 3 or 4 big sprouts until I am confident that those guys are still going to come up. I just don't want any of them to end up with basically have other little plants' roots overwhelming and taking nutrition and all those good growth things from them in the soil that they're sharing, basically. So yeah, let's do a little before and after. Here's before. Okay, so at this point I think this is as much as I'm going to thin them for starters here, since they are still pretty young little sprouts. I just don't want to inhibit their growth anymore, so I'm hoping at this point thinning them out will help prevent them from getting kind of leggy and too tall for their root system. I'll probably have to do another round of thinning, maybe next week, maybe in a couple weeks. We'll just kind of play it by ear. I'm going to try to just trust my instincts on these here. If anybody has any pointers, please let me know. But otherwise, I think this is good for the lavender. So let's go upstairs to all the other plants and see what we can do there. Hey, pretty girl, are you going to help? Are you a good helper? Shiloh's up here snuggling. You gonna snuggle on the bed while I do some gardening? You're wishing that there were chipmunks to run around in a garden, right? You like to chase those chipmunks? Okay, and here are 2 of our basils before thinning. These guys I'm gonna have to do a lot more work on, I think. That being said, they say to thin them to 12 inches, and I don't think I'm quite ready to do that. So I'm gonna thin them quite a lot just because there is a lot of growth throughout here, but more so I just want to make sure that everything is got room to grow on its own for now, and I'm just going to allow myself to trim them up a little bit more again in another week or 2. Alright, and then here's how the basil is now thinned out. Again, I may go in and thin them out a little bit more in a couple weeks, but we shall see how everything grows. Here's our before of the parsley and cilantro. Each of these I'm basically going to leave one strong sprout per individual container here, these little brown things, little compostable containers. And here we've got 1 sprout in each little container here. Noodle, you gonna help me? What? You're cute. Here we've got the basil, sweet basil, and oregano before thinning out. Alright, we thinned out the basil. The oregano is still super teeny tiny, and so I'm not going to put a ton of effort into actually cleaning out any of the little bits that I trimmed, but I kind of tried to trim valleys, I guess, into the seedlings here, so that as they grow, we'll see basically rows kind of form. We'll see if that actually pans out okay. So, the cilantro's popping little roots out of the bottom. So these guys are definitely going to have to go into more permanent pots very soon, or their permanent planting setup at least. I've got to do a little bit more research and decide exactly how I want to keep them. I think, honestly, considering I'm filming in this room all my YouTube videos, I might just want to do like a plant wall all across here. Excuse that box board here, or box spring, I'm sorry, that needs to be basically brought to the dump. But that way then I can film from this angle. We've got, you know, a cute little day bed set up, and then something on the background would be nice. Some greenery I think would be pretty. Unfortunately, the oregano and rosemary do not seem to be doing that great. I guess I shouldn't say that. The rosemary seems to be okay. The oregano is coming in really sparse. I think what I need to probably do is actually sterilize some soil and repot the one, or I should say the growths that are coming through into little containers like I did with the parsley and cilantro. It's hard to say. I don't know if it's because I did mix in, I repotted a few other plants at the same time as planting these towards the end. So these guys were the ones that got the soil that had been mixed with my other plants, which those came from various places like Home Depot and IKEA, and it's hard to say the state of the soil just because not every place is going to take as good a care as, you know, maybe a smaller greenhouse would or something along those lines. So I'll keep you posted on that. I looked up, you can sterilize soil just in the oven, so I'll probably put it in a glass baking dish enough for a couple of those rounded, probably, I think it's 4 inches across or so, 4-inch diameter compostable pots. Still no luck with the spearmint. At this point, I'm kind of feeling like I need to give up on it, but I'm gonna let it sit and see if it does anything in the next couple weeks, I guess. And then here are the onions and chives. I need to look up specifically how to thin these guys out. I don't know if it takes more than just the herb trimming. Hey, Onyx. Gonna be loud? I actually caught Shyla crawling into here earlier, so hopefully she didn't stomp on any delicate root systems. In research, I found out that chives actually like to grow in pretty clumpy environments. I'm gonna let these guys go just a little bit longer before I try thinning anything out, especially these garlic chives, because they don't seem to be growing in very thick. The onion chives I think I will definitely have to thin out just to make sure everything gets what they need, but I think more so I want to repot these into bigger containers and just separate the clumps rather than actually thinning out the clumps, because it sounds like they do okay when you separate their root systems, and they're pretty resilient little resilient little plants. I almost said little creatures. I guess they're creatures, right? I also took some time to just repot the couple of sprouts for rosemary I had coming up, as well as the couple of thyme sprouts into their own little containers here. I have a couple of strawberry containers that I think I'll dote these guys into and try to keep them organized, because right now their sprouts look very, very similar. I know as they grow they'll start to look a little bit different, but I need to keep them separated so I know what the heck I'm watering in case they need different things later on. So anywho, that's about where we're at. Pause for a cute kitty cat. Just wanted to do a quick summary on the herb garden. I've got everything kind of trimmed up as much as I want at this point. I don't want to overdo it, but I want to give everything room to grow and for each of the little sprouts individual leaves to get the sunshine that they need, and then their root systems to get the moisture and nutrients that they need. I'm definitely going to need to pull more little sprouts as time goes on, I can tell, because even since yesterday, there are more cilantro sprouts coming up, so some of the seeds were definitely more prolific than others. Still no spearmint seeds, though, coming up as sprouts, and I'm a little disappointed because I feel like by now I should see something. I don't know. I might buy another pack, I might not. I might cut my losses and just use that container as one of the homes for a few of the herbs that go well together, so... Anyways, thanks for checking in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I guess let me know if you have any pointers, if you've got your own indoor herb garden, or if there's anything else you want to see. I held on to some seeds from pepper that we chopped up yesterday because it's a really, really pretty, like it almost looked like a watercolor yellow and reddish orange, like scarlet color. So it was just a unique pepper, and I was like, maybe I can grow this myself. So I saved the seeds. Maybe I'll plant those too. We can track that growth. I don't know if this vlog will stay all about the herb garden, because I know at a certain point it'll just be productive, and I don't know that it'll have much more interesting updates. So let me know if you want more of my own life, of my pets, of my hobbies. A lot of my hobbies will probably make it onto the channel anyway, whether or not you want them, so. Anyways, thanks again for watching and have a nice day.